guests, but I will still say good morning and good afternoon to all of you. I'm Brenda Payne, the CEO here at the Hendersonville Area Chamber of Commerce. We're delighted that all of you took time out of your busy schedules to come and be with us at our September luncheon. Before we get started and before I ask Steve Mills to come up to give our invocation, I want to just remember that today is the 11th anniversary of September 11th, 2001, the day that so many of our brothers and sisters died in an attack in New York City. But I also want us to remember that although they gave their lives for our country, there are many, many other folks around in our country and around the world who are helping to preserve our way of life. And so I hope that as we continue through today, we have an opportunity to sit back and reflect on the wonderful opportunities we have here in this country and in this city, and also to thank those who are helping make that possible all around the world. So thank you for your service in all the ways that you provide that service to this community as well. And so now I would ask Steve Mills to come forward and give our invocation.
Before I pray, I had the opportunity this morning to go to the memorial for the fire police department put on a little park for 9/11. And it was a very moving, touching experience, and reminded me of how many lives were affected by that event. So before I pray, I would ask us to bow our heads in a moment of silence. Dear Lord, I ask you right now to continue to bring your hands of comfort and healing on those families that were affected, emergency workers, the employees in that building, just the thousands of people that were affected. I ask you just to continue to comfort them and strengthen them and heal them. Lord, I thank you right now for allowing us to live, work, and play in a community like Hendersonville, in a county like Sumner, in a state like Tennessee, and a country like America. We've been so blessed, and all good and perfect things come from you. We thank you for those blessings. Now we ask you to bless this food, the nourishment of our bodies to your service. In Jesus' name I do pray. Amen. Amen.
Could I ask you to stand as we say the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Lynn Silverman to you. Lynn is going to come up, and Lynn is the owner of Huntington Learning Centers, and he's serving this year as the chair of the Hendersonville Chamber, and we're delighted that he's a part of us, so would you please help me welcome Lynn Silverman.
Thank you. I guess I'd be remiss if I also didn't comment on today. There's so much gratitude to it. And I would ask everyone to think back to where they were and how they felt when they found out what was going on in September 11th. And I remember it clearly. And once you get past the pain and you really start to think about it, I remember the overwhelming feeling that I had was a sense of pride and a sense of community about being an American and what being an American means. And the reason I bring this up now is I'm about to allow our elected officials to introduce themselves. And And I know we're moving into a heated political season. And I'm just reminded that those differences that separate us pale in comparison to the strengths that bind us together. And I think we all need to remember that. So with that, I'd like to ask our elected officials, starting in this area of the room, if you would, I just don't want to miss anyone, so I would like for you to stand and introduce yourselves. Please.
I'm Steve Brown. I represent Alderman 4 here in Ward 4 here in Hendersonville and all.
Ed Baker of the Galveston City Council, glad to be here. Thank you.
I'm Paul Good. I wear two hats. I'm County Commissioner in the 10th District and Alderman from Ward 3.
Deborah Maddox, State Representative here in the 45th House.
Down there for Sumner County Registered Deeds.
Scott Foster, your mayor. I wear a lot of different hats. I'm a dog catcher. I invite you guys on this day, Saturday, we have a memorial service at the Fire Hall on Free Hill Road. We have a 4-foot piece, an artifact of the World Trade Center. It took us 10 years to get it. It's installed in alignment style beside the Fire Hall on Free Hill Road. It's a 4-foot memorial to the World Trade Center. I invite you to go over there and see it. Know that it's 4 foot long, weighs 792 pounds. It's covered in rust. It's covered in sweat. It's covered in blood. It's covered in tears. So I invite you to go by and put your hands on that piece of history. Take your kids to see it. It's a very well done memorial. It symbolizes many lives lost, particularly in firemen. So run by there and see it if you don't do anything else today. Thank you.
Frank Freeman, County Commissioner.
And we missed that. Let's take a moment to thank all of our elected officials for what they do. Well, every month I also have the great pleasure of introducing our new members of the Chamber. I do try my best not to butcher anyone's name, so bear with me. I'd like to welcome Aqua Perfect, Tanya McPherson, Cleaning Services Group, Inc., Rick Sturgis, Comcast, Colbert Cheese, Comcast Spotlight, Matthew Lawson, Elite Landscape Company Incorporated, Shannon Warner, Gertner Company, Scott Gertner, Grounds Guys, Dominic Parente, Store Place Self Storage in Madison, Michael Young, and T. Zeka Sales, Tom Zeka. Let's take a moment to welcome our new members. What I'd like to do now, I've got the pleasure of introducing our speaker for this afternoon. I'm looking forward to telling you a little bit about Terry Clements. We get a bio from our speakers every month, and it's rare and a pleasure to have someone list the jobs that they had when they were in high school. And I started delivering newspapers when I was 13 years old, and I loved that. So he had jobs in high school working at Southern Inn Motel, a nearby restaurant in Clarksdale, Mississippi. So I think that's a great place to start, and you kind of learn what business is all about when you're out there working in a restaurant and in a hotel. Since 1976, Terry's been working with Nashville Convention and Visitors Bureau. He was the first hire with travel industry experience to the newly founded Convention and Visitors Bureau effort within the Nashville Chamber of Commerce. He's also involved in volunteer activities, including the Belmont Mansion Board of Directors, Belmont University Business School Advisory Council. He's the chair of the Southeast Tourism Society and the chair of Nashville's Downtown District. So it's my pleasure to introduce to you Terry Clements, Vice President of Government and Community Relations with the Nashville Convention and Visitors Bureau. Yeah.
Thanks. That's the first time my high school job has ever been mentioned in an introduction. But it says, I accidentally got into this business and it turned out to be pretty good for me. I am so excited to be here today to talk to you about this new building that's going up in Nashville, why we build it, why we need it, and what it's going to do to change life as we all know. A couple of quick facts. Hospitality is the second largest industry in Nashville, second only to healthcare. brings in about $4 billion, and a little over 11 million visitors a year. We're incredibly lucky that about a third of our business is business travel, which we have no influence over. About a third of it is leisure travel, which we have tremendous influence over, and the other third of it is meetings and conventions. It's not just us bragging about Nashville right now, it's everybody that's taking notice of what's going on here. We've been named, Rolling Stone named us one of the hottest cities in the country for music. Travel and Leisure named us a city that you can go to every day of the year. It's like New Year's. We've just been named by Bon Appetit as a top food city in the country. So what's going on in this community is being noticed around the world. This slide is a reminder of another, nowhere near the tragedy that was mentioned earlier, but certainly one that affected us greatly. This is the flood of 2 years ago, on May the 1st. The stadium on the left you see is what it looked like on May the 3rd. We have a little event scheduled coming up in a few weeks called Fanfare, for those of you that have been around here a long time, CMA Music Festival. That Monday, our phone started ringing with cancellations. People saying that we've seen the city's underwater, we don't want to come, just cancel our hotel reservations. The city pulled together with Country Music Association, Great American Country, radio stations around the country, and said, we're open for business, come and see us. 6 weeks later, the picture on the right was the largest gathering of people that ever came to Nashville for the CMA Music Festival. So that's the kind of spirit that this community has and the way we approach what could have been a disaster. One of the things that, if you've been here a long time, you know we have a theme park for 25 years. Tremendously successful operation. Closed in 1998. We have lacked that family destination attraction ever since then. We're a good place to come, but if you're sitting in your living room with your family in Alabama or Ohio trying to decide where we're going, and you've got young folks, they're not going to say Nashville first. Gaylord and Dolly have announced that they're going to do what we hope will replace that family destination. And in 2014, they will open a combination water park and snow park. The water park will help us fill the summertime months, and the snow park will help us fill the wintertime months. And hopefully that's going to go a long way to fill a void that we've had since 1998. The Convention and Visitors Bureau looked at ourselves a little different than maybe some other cities. We try to figure out where are our holes, where are our need periods, where's our hotels empty, and what can we do to fix them. And this was New Year's Eve. The mayor asked us a couple of years ago, what can we do to help New Year's? It's the slowest week of the year. And we put on the first event down there. It had about 30,000 people. This last end of December, we had about 70,000 people. It's going to get bigger and better, and this year on ABC TV, our guitar drop is going to be one of those featured at midnight. So if you're not doing anything on New Year's, plan to come downtown, and I can't tell you today who the groups are going to be, but they're going to be well worth hearing. Why did we build a convention center? Why did we decide to build a new one? In 1987, when the one that we have opened, if you see on the left, it was about 118,000 square feet of space. Nice amount of space. I'll talk louder. Okay. Actually, 118,000 was perfect for the size that we had at the time, but we quickly outgrew it. One of our blessings and curses with Nashville is meeting planners set records for attendance. That's the blessing. The curse is we go to book them to come back to Nashville, and they say, we outgrew you. Thanks for helping us grow, but we don't fit anymore. So that building that worked for us 25 years ago doesn't work for us today. The one we're building today took us about 13 years to get approved and go through the state legislature and get some legislation passed for financing. Metro Council had to do 18 different votes to approve it. It's going to be 350,000 square feet. And to put that in perspective for you, it's 6 square blocks of space under one roof, all flat level floor. We can compete. Okay. The old center, the one that we have today, competes for about 20 to 25% of all the conventions in the country. So we're leaving an awful lot of money on the table going to other cities. The one we're about to build, or about to open, is going to be able to accommodate about 70 to 75% of all the conventions in the country. We're not going to build it big enough. As I always say, we don't build the church for Easter Sunday. We're not going to build it to hold the biggest ones. They're going to continue going to Chicago and Orlando and that kind of place, but we're going to get most of them. Most important on here is 1.2 billion square feet of conditioned space under one roof. We're going from the 40th largest, from the 115th largest convention center in the country to the 40th largest. Our old center was the size of Dubuque. And most people, when they think of major convention cities, Dubuque is not high in there on their mind. This is where it's going to be. At the top of this map would be Broadway. On the top right of this map would be the arena. On the right-hand side of this map would be the Country Music Hall of Fame. Demonbreun is the north boundary. Fifth Avenue is the east boundary. 8th Avenue is the west boundary. And the newly built Korean Veterans Boulevard will be the boundary on the south. 6th Avenue, as you see here, runs right through the building. And I'll show you a little picture here in a moment of how that's going to work. But unlike our current convention center, if you drop somebody off, you're sitting in the middle of Commerce Street, in the middle of the rain or snow or whatever. Here, you'll pull underneath the building, drop your guests off, and then pull right into a parking lot that on this side of the building to your left is 1,800 parking spaces inside the building. This is the actual site. So you can see the arena roof there on the top right. The Hall of Fame on the top right, and the Gulch would be over to your left. One of the things that I don't think anybody realized is if you're on the 5th Avenue side of the building, you're a block away from the honky tonks, the entertainment district. If you're on the 8th Avenue side, on one end of you're a block and a half away from the Frisk Center for the Visual Arts, and on the other end of the building, on 8th Avenue, you're a block and a half away from the Gulch. So this building is really going to tie together south of Broadway in ways that none of us have ever dreamed of. This is the finished product. This is what we hope you'll see here in a few months. I'm going to show you some progress pictures in just a second. One of the things that I can say about this, the architect that designed this has designed 40 of them from all around the world. Some of the best ones that have ever been designed, he designed. And even asked recently, tell me what other convention centers this compares with. And he thought for a minute and he said, it really is not like any other convention center. It's more like a performing arts center. And to me, that's the highest praise you could say is we didn't build a big ugly box. This is one of the side benefits of our new center. Most of you recognize this as a leftover from the Industrial Revolution. It's an electrical substation. Ugly, it used to be on 6th Avenue in Demonbreun. It went away. What replaced it is this building that is now one of the most modern, sophisticated substations in the world. This is the first one built with this technology. We're booking engineers to come from all over the country to study our new substation, and we also got rid of that ugly monstrosity at the same time. This is another thing that you will never see again, but I wanted to show it to you. On the bottom left here, you see that slab of concrete. That is a water tank. It's a 350,000 gallon water tank. And the water that, we're going to absorb some of the water, which I'll show you in a minute, but the water that rolls off the roof is going to come down into this tank and be stored. And it will then be used to water the landscaping throughout the building and to flush the toilets throughout the building. Saving Nashville a whole lot of money because all of our water that goes in the storm system goes to the water treatment plant, so we pay for every gallon of that. So it's going to help us a lot. This is one of the other green parts of the building that is just spectacular. This is a window that will be open to the public. Unfortunately, you can't go out on this roof because it's a membrane roof and it's not designed to hold people. But this is the green roof on top of the building. The green roof is there for a couple of reasons. It absorbs water, so you don't run off as much water. But secondly, on a day like today where the sun's shining bright, it keeps the temperature of the roof down about 40 degrees lower than what it would be if you didn't have that green roof. So it saves a huge amount of money in air conditioning costs. The green roof, we get asked about it all the time. Some of you are gardeners, I'm sure. It's not really grass, it's sedums. And sedums are a waxy cactus-like plant that absorb a lot of water. They don't require a lot of tending. They don't need to be cut or mowed or anything. And they just sit there and thrive in the sunshine. And so that's what the green roof is made up of. And I took a developer up on there the other day, and he sent back a picture he took of the roof, and he said, it's like being in a spaceship, and when you open the door, you're on another planet. And that's literally what being on the roof of this building looks like. This is the 5th Avenue, and Demonbreun is to your right, 5th Avenue is to your left. So we are standing on a street corner right across the street from the Country Music Hall of Fame. This is the entrance. You would come out and go to the honky tonks from the entertainment district. One of the things you'll see that we really ask for the architect, don't make it a big ugly concrete building. And so you're going to see, as we go all the way around the building, you're going to see huge amounts of glass and light inside the building. This is the Demonbreun side. That great big bump out that the contractor calls the whale or shamu is actually where all the people moving equipment is. The elevators, escalators, and the stuff to get you from one floor to the other. The total building is 14 stories tall. We're now on the 8th Avenue end, looking down toward the right side of the building. And again, you see massive overhangs. You see the rolling roof was designed purposely. Our public meetings asked it to make it reflect Middle Tennessee. And so the architects did that rolling roof line to make it look like the hills of Middle Tennessee. Again, major overhangs and roof lines looking over the skyline. This part is what I'm a total geek. I sell the building, so this is the part we love. Down here, this is Korean Veterans Boulevard. We're standing on what the new road will be through here. To your right there is a junior ballroom that is one of the larger ballrooms in the state of Tennessee. And above that orange part you see is a wall. All the trucks will drive in, all the delivery trucks, and things constantly come into a building like this. All the delivery trucks pull into the building, disappear in the building, and go up a ramp, and there's 33 loading docks behind that wall. So you will never see a truck once it enters the building, and you won't sit behind trucks as we've done on Broadway. Anybody who's ever been downtown during a setup of a show. This is one of the hallways. 5th Avenue is immediately to your left. Again, you see massive amounts of windows and natural light coming in. This is, for those of you that still smoke, and I know some of you do, there's a number of little balconies that have spectacular views. And this will be one of those smoking balconies that overlooks 5th Avenue and Demonbreun. Demonbreun is immediately to our right. So this is the hallway that runs all the way the length of Demonbreun. And the area that we're standing in is a pre-function area where you'll have receptions and things before you actually go into the exhibit hall or the ballroom. This is the giant ballroom on the top. And if you remember that picture I showed you, and I'll show you at the end again, it looks like a guitar from above. That was on purpose. There's lots of musical icons in this building. This is the largest ballroom in the state of Tennessee. It's 57,000 square feet. Will hold, for a rounded meal like this, it will hold about 6,500 people. What you see on the far end of this ballroom is a built-in stage, and I'll show you in a second here. The walls close so that you don't know there's a stage there until it's time to reveal that the band's behind the doors. That's the actual stage. It's about the size of the stage of the Ryman Auditorium, so it's pretty huge. That's one of the plywood doors. That'll now get covered with mahogany and will look like just part of a wall until it's time to open those doors and bring out the band. This is one of the cool parts of the building. This is 6th Avenue. We're standing on 6th Avenue, right, looking up to the south of the building. If you went through this building and drove south, you'd go underneath the interstate and go anywhere to the south part of Nashville. On your left is the meeting rooms and the elevator lobbies. On your right is the 1,800 parking spaces. You can't tell it, but on the wall on the right, there will be a 180-foot long piece of art that will be hanging there. And there's actually going to be over $2 million worth of art through this building, and almost everybody, every bit of it is artists from Nashville and Middle Tennessee and actually the state of Tennessee. This is why we sell it. This is the part we love. This is the giant exhibit hall. 6 square blocks of space. For those of you that might be in the business, you notice very few columns. The only columns are out here at the edge of the building to support the stuff that's overhead. But those beams that you see are 270 feet long each. And so clear span space of nearly the length of a football field. Throughout the floor, you can barely see one, but you can see that little cover there. There are floor boxes, and the floor boxes have got electricity, compressed air, Cat 5, and everything that you need to run your booth. And we've also put in empty pieces of conduit so that if there's future technology, we can pull that future technology through that empty conduit. This is one more green part of the building. On the right, you see typical metal halide lights, the kind that every arena has. On the left are LED lights, continuously variable from a candle light all the way up to full brightness, and should last long beyond our lifetimes. This is the very first meal in the junior ballroom. We celebrated safety one day and thanked them for a safe job and fed 1,200 workers who were on the site that day. Right today, there's about 900 people there on the site. Here you see some of the glass. There are 14 miles worth of carpet going in the building as we speak. There are some of the carpet patterns. The carpet is exactly the same that's in the World Congress Center, and it took about 12 years before it wore out, so we've got a good lifetime on that stuff. This is the ballroom on the roof, and the far end that you see is those doors that I was talking about on the stage. What you can't see here is at the top of it, those things that look like ribs are designed to look like the inside of a piano, but they also hide the tracks for all of the air walls that you can divide the room up into various sizes of room. How are we doing? We're doing incredibly well. It's not open yet. We've booked 63 groups with 730,000 room nights attached to those groups. Meeting planners are not risk takers. They don't like to book a building based on pretty pictures. They want to talk to their friends and ask, how did it work? Did the move-in work? And that kind of thing. The fact that 63 groups have now said, we trust Nashville enough that we'll book your building before it's even open is a testament to the value of this city. One of the most important things I can tell you and every other audience we've ever spoken to, you will not pay a dime for it. It is totally being paid for by visitor taxes. And when I'm asked, how do we know that'll work? In the worst recession that most of us have known in our lifetime, we've not only cash flowed what we needed to pay for it, but we've cash flowed about $20 million more than was needed. So the numbers are going to work. This is the new hotel across the street from it, the Omni Hotel. It's 800 rooms. It is going up about one floor every 2 weeks. It'll be 21 stories tall, and spectacular building that they're building there for us. For those of you that are geeks, as I am, this is the website you can go to. It's Oxblue Construction, Cameron, Nashville. Every 7 to 11 minutes, all day long, it takes a picture and posts it on the internet. And that little calendar, actually you can't see the calendar on the left, but there's a little calendar. You can go back to any minute of the last 3 years and see where we were in the process. So it's a great way to keep up with the project. We're 231 days from opening. It'll open up May the 1st of next year. It's on time and on budget. And now, I'll be glad to answer any questions if you have any. Yeah?
What do you estimate is going to be the growth in room nights year over year, let's say, for the next 5 years?
Question is growth in room nights. We probably a couple 100,000 a year. We've got shut off this little machine here. We've already, as I said, we've already booked a tremendous amount. We're not even to the point that they will start. We'll really start booking a lot more in the next 6 months. So 200,000 is probably one of the things that we talked about before y'all got here was don't ever use a smartphone. we had two pieces of business we had to move. And in the hotel business, Moses here in the hotel business, one of our sayings is, it's not what you book, it's what you move. Because if you move something, it means not only do you have that you originally booked, but now you got something else. We had two pieces of business that we booked before we even signed the contract to build it, that were going to come in April of next year. It's not going to be open until May. So we went to them and said, we need to discuss the fact that we'll make you whole financially, and we've let you down, but what can we do? One of the groups, we moved to Opryland, and they're staying in town, and then they're going to come back downtown to the hotel, to the downtown center in 3 years. The other group, we moved to Orlando, but they booked 3 years into the future. So we booked 6 groups out of moving 2 groups, and so we don't apologize at all for the fact that, yeah, it cost us a little money, but we're going to book $20 million worth of business for moving about $500,000 worth of moving costs. Other questions? This building is going to change not only Nashville, but this area in ways that we can't imagine. One of the problems we had, when we had a convention center that was 118,000 square feet, you could have one meeting at a time. 3 days a week, you're moving the meeting in. 3 days a week, you're meeting. 3 days a week, you're moving it out. So the beginning and the end of the week, your hotels are empty, your restaurants are empty, your taxis and everything else are sitting waiting for business. We now have got a big enough building that we can constantly have one moving in, one meeting, and one moving out, or we can have such a huge one that it will fill the city and drive business out to this area. So you're going to feel it out here as well, and not just in hotel room nights, but in suppliers and other forms. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
What is the orange rectangular?
That's the ballroom. I'm sorry, that is the
Giant ballroom. That's the giant ballroom, the 57,000 square foot ballroom, and on the top of it is photovoltaic cells that generate electricity for the building. And one of the...
Am I back on? If you see the curve of that, the curvature of that space, that curve goes through every floor, all 14 floors, all the way down to the basement. So when you're in the first floor, you begin to see these curves that look like a musical instrument, and every floor you go up, you continue to see those musical instrument icons, if you will.
What was the name of the website again?
Put in a search engine, Oxblue Construction Camera Nashville, and it'll take you there. And you'll waste way too much time on that website. I was literally in a lot of meetings with the architects early on. They'd be watching what was going on, and they'd call a contractor and say, move that truck, that's not where that goes, move it over about 12 feet. So it's not only fun, it's practical as well. Well, thank you all for the opportunity. Oh, yes, sir. Yes,
How
sir.
many new jobs you think this activity will create?
The number of new jobs, there's 2 or 3 answers to that. The convention center itself will only be about 300 jobs, because what they do is they staff up based on, if we got a big meeting coming in, they hire a bunch of day employees. The hotel across the street will be about 500 to 800. But there's going to, what's happening in this business, in this building, is a small part. One of the things I failed to say, if you come here as a leisure visitor, you spend about $120 per person per day. So we love you. If you come here as a convention delegate, you spend about $280 per person per day. We really love you. So that $280, most of it doesn't stick in this building. Most of it is all over the community. So that's where the real jobs will be created, is the spin-off of economic engine that this will create. Thank you all so much. I hope you'll enjoy it May the 1st when it opens next year.
All right, well, that's a very cool looking building. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking about doing those little cactus things on the roof of my house. I mean, seriously, that looks like a really good idea, so I may try that. Before I forget and move past this, I was reminded about the smartphone going off. This was left at the registration desk, so if you just want to come up after and pick that up, I've got that for you. All right. Moving on, what I would like to do is invite our display tables to come up and talk about their products and services. You want to make your way up?
Good afternoon. I'm Ann Patterson, and I'm an independent distributor with It Works Global. Our company has body contouring products, premium supplements, and weight loss products. And I would like to draw for our door prize. You will have your choice of a body applicator or facial or one of our premium supplements. Mary Beth Hearn, is she here, or Tommy Cohen? Oh, and Rita Hilbert, excuse me, their treatment coordinator. Okay, Rita. All right, see me after the program.
Hello, Mike Seeley, Holder Family Fun Center. On behalf of Dan and Barbara Holder, we'd like to thank Sumner County for welcoming us back into the community. We ran bowling centers for many years. We left approximately 10 years ago. We are now back in Sumner County, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. We do many things. Gallatin is more traditional center with laser tag and party rooms for birthdays and stuff like that. Hendersonville is unbelievable. Those of you who haven't seen it yet, the bowling center itself has been open since October of last year. Within the next week to 10 days, we hope to get the fun side open. It has indoor go-karts, laser tag, two-story laser tag, bumper cars. We're going to have all kinds of shows for kids. It fits everyone's needs. Not quite as big as the convention center in Nashville, but we do host up to 200 to 300 people. So if you'd like to come out for your church groups or Boy Scouts or anything like that. As far as the bowling side, I'm a bowler. That's my passion. The holders are bowlers from way back when also. I'm one of 20 coaches. USA Bowling is a national arm with the youth coach bowling. And I teach parents how to be coaches. So if any of your churches, school groups, Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts, any kind of thing like that you would like for us to come out, there's no charge. We want kids to learn how to bowl. The more kids that bowl, if you're like me, I go where my daughter goes. So we get to tag along, and we have a facility that can take care of all your needs. And thanks for your time. We also, we had to draw a ticket. I couldn't get my hand in the bucket over there. So we're going to give away 2 free all-day passes, and it goes to Kathy Crow.
Bruce Carter, this is Nancy Myers from the First State Bank. And we'll give away Nancy's going to sing and dance.
You want to clear this room real quick, don't you?
But anyway, we're with First State Bank. We're a local bank. We have offices 2 here in Hendersonville, Glenbrook on Main Street, Clements, White House, and Gallatin. Our headquarters is out of Union City. What we're spotlighting today, a custom debit card. How many people's got debit cards? And we use them. Wouldn't it great to have the picture of your pet, your grandbaby? How about the Goodlettsville baseball team in this world won the national championship would be another one. Sport, if you run, you fish, you hunt, you do whatever. We have customized debit cards that you can get a picture. It does have to be approved, I would say that. But we also have custom as well. But you can have that on your debit card. And I like it. At first I was wondering, am I really going to like this? This is our, and I know it's hard to say, this is our normal card. It's just a normal card, it's like a credit card. I went to Montana several years ago. I got the Montana mountains on this. It's just really neat. It's a fun thing to do, and it draws attention to it. So we'll be here after the meeting. Come see us anytime. We'd love to show you how it works, and we'd love to have your business. So now we'll give away the prizes. First one is our stadium seat. It's a great seat. It's big enough for me. Ken Kreider. All right. Cheryl Sessom.
How are you guys? My name is Allie, and I'm the Member Relations Director here at Bluegrass, and I wanted to let you guys know that we are starting a business networking group here, and it's open to everyone. It's going to be the second Wednesday of each month, and we're going to call it Cocktails and Connections. The first meeting is going to be tomorrow night here at Bluegrass at 6 p.m., and Club Corps' Director of Social Media from Dallas is coming here to speak about social media and small business. So hopefully that's something that you guys find relevant. And especially if you're self-employed or looking to grow your business, I don't think this is anything anyone should miss. He's a very, very accomplished man when it comes to social media, and considering that it's a complimentary event always, so you don't have to pay. I think that it would be great if you guys would like to come. We have a bowl set up over here where you can drop your business card in, so we can get a good idea of how many people are going to attend, and we're also going to have some door prizes as well. And then also October 8th, which is Columbus Day, we're having our annual charity classic golf tournament. It benefits Sumner County CASA, which is court-appointed special advocates for abused and neglected children, if you guys are not familiar. The golf tournament is open to everybody. It's $60 a player. It includes lunch and dinner, so it's a great opportunity to bring out some clients or colleagues for a nice day of golf. Thank you.
Okay, and I'm going to remind everyone of some wonderful opportunities the Chamber has coming up. For our connection opportunities, we have Coffee Connection. It meets every Tuesday morning. Coffee starts at 7:45. The connection part starts at 8, so make sure you're there early. Of course, Leads Exchange meets every Wednesday at 12 noon at the Chamber. And then our next business after hours is September 20th at Rock Castle. And it is sponsored by ITS Techs, Nationwide the Sessler Agency, Tankersley Chiropractic, and Shane's Rib Shack, and they'll have live entertainment. So everyone make sure you come out to Rock Castle. And our next luncheon is October 2nd, and it will be the mayoral forum, so all of the candidates running for mayor will be there. So there will not be a, look, now I got 2 coffees. The Coffee Connection will not be on the 5th. Coffee, what? We like coffee at the Chamber, except for me, I don't drink coffee. So Coffee Conversations is canceled on the 5th, so everyone comes to the luncheon on the 2nd for the mayoral forum. And then the best thing coming up is September 27th, the Taste of Hendersonville, sponsored by the Goddard School, will be at the streets of Indian Lake from 5 to 8. We have tickets here. We have tickets at the Chamber, at Sumner Bank and Trust, or Black Hat Beach. So buy your tickets and come to the Taste.
Thank you, Cassie. So I think all of you got your marching orders about where you're going to be over the next 2 or 3 weeks. Make your reservations now. I really appreciate Cassie coming up and doing that. And Bruce, by the way, I want to know if I can get a picture of me rappelling off the tower at Fort Campbell. Wendy and I went up a couple of weeks ago, and we both rappelled, and we both got video of that. So can we do that? Can we get a picture of just me in the helmet and then the harness and all that stuff on the demo card? Yeah. Okay. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. Okay. We have one more door prize, and that is for signature cleaners, a $25 gift certificate. And the winner of that today is Mara Chaffin with the Holder Family Fun Center. And unless there are any other announcements, I am going to adjourn this meeting. I hope you all have a great afternoon and rest of the week. Thank you for being here.